Alright, good morning. Yeah, I don't know where my mind is these days. Okay, so, in March, because I'm not sure when I'm actually going to be loading this, vlog up, I had read, I put together a TBR for the rereadathon, and that's going to be linked up here. In that TBR, I had this novel, A Mating Dance by Lia Davis. And I really hope to get into this one. This one is actually one that I had read in 2013, and I was excited to have this to reread again. However, I completely thought it was a different book. I don't know the name of the title that the book was, because I just thought it was, I thought it was completely different. So, I had looked at my previous account, my previous book review, and I actually gave it 4 stars, and the setup is different than I thought. I thought it had different types of shifters. This is actually part of Lia Davis's Shifters in Ashwood Falls book 3 right now, and it's based off of 2 jaguar shifters and 1 lion shifter. Yes, a lion shifter. So I am excited to actually get into this, and kind of getting it into fresh eyes because I don't really remember it as much as I thought I did. At that time, as you'll see down here, which I am showing, I gave it 4 stars. Hopefully I will still like it as I did before, and pretty much this is a new thing to me since I read it in 2013, and I vaguely remember it. I don't remember it. I mean, I read my review, and the original review is down below, so if you want to check it out, go right ahead. But I don't remember as much of it as I thought I did. So, it'll be interesting to read this one, and I hope you enjoy the journey as much as I do. Oh, and I forgot to say, my name is Jessica, and welcome to my channel. Okay, so I'm in the middle of chapter 3 right now, 18% of the way for A Mating Dance, and it's definitely got a good build up. Basically what it is you have a leopard? I think that's what he is. Okay, so you have, alright, let me go to the bio. We have Blaine, we have, oh my god, I blanked on the names. Alright, we have Cameron, we have Blaine, and we have Graham. Cameron is... Yeah, this is stinky, I know, I'm sorry. Okay, so, at the very bottom of the blurb for the book description, it says, warning, contains 1 hot-headed leopard, a man who thought he'd lost it all, and a woman who wants to rub against both in the best possible ways. Okay, so Cameron is the girl, of course, and she and Blaine have known each other forever, and all 3 of them are different types of shifters, actually, I think. And they're all different types of cat shifters. And Blaine and Cameron have known each other for a long time, and when they were 19, she decided that she was going to finally get together with him, and because that's what it felt like they were mates. And then when she was 22, I mean, they never bonded, but they were getting together in a relationship, and when she was 22, they had a miscarriage. So since then, which has been quite a few years now, it seems, she has pulled away from him because she doesn't think that she's worthy to be his mate. And now Graham is in the picture, and it's throwing them all off balance. Graham, because he has always been attracted only to males, Cameron, because she feels like she's being disloyal to Blaine, even though she's not sure if she wants to pursue their relationship more, only because of her not past mistakes, but the miscarriage and such. And then you have Blaine, who is very alpha male and is not sure of his own feelings. And where I just ended in the chapter 3, or I'm in the middle of it still, but where I paused, Blaine is kind of fighting with his own shifter cat in him, the snow leopard, because he's going over his own thoughts, and he's confused and a little bit of jealous and different things. And then when he, I guess, consults his inner cat, he's not giving him any help. And then in
a phrase, I know I'm gonna miss it.
It says, his leopard was no help. The damn cat lay silent, not offering any hint of what he wanted. The man, however, wanted Graham and Cameron. So yeah, and then it goes on, and then it says, still Blaine's cat said nothing. The traitor actually acted intrigued at the idea of Cameron and Graham together. The man wasn't sure. So yeah, it's definitely very interesting, and because of this mismatched pack, of a bunch of different shifters and different relationships, they're all connected somehow, whether as friends or as step siblings or as adopted siblings. It's just a very mismatched pack, but it works for them. I will say at the end of this vlogging series as to what book in the book series it is, because I forget. But I don't think I read any of the novels prior to this one. I'm not sure, and I'll let you know later. But this is a reread, like I said before, so it never hurt me in getting into this story because I didn't know the previous stories. It is very entwined about this triad and the ensuing connections that come into place when Graham kind of has to get back into the parental role for his ex's children. So there's more to it than that, because there's a avenging pack and all this other stuff, but it's definitely very intriguing. And since it's the first time that I read from Blaine's perspective now, and I really enjoyed getting his take on things where I already know prior what Cameron and Graham feel. So yeah, I can't wait for this to continue on. Get back to you. Okay, so I meant to record this in the morning and then read and then record again, but that just slipped away. So I'm going to talk to you about where I was last night, and that was at the 19% mark. And I'm going to read to you this quote that I had highlighted yesterday, because it kind of explains where I was at that point in the 19% mark. It says, all her friends had told her that the miscarriage wasn't her fault, and there wasn't anything she could have done differently, but it still cut way too deep. Although she couldn't shake the feeling that something was missing. But what? Graham? She didn't think so. Blaine would never share her. That kiss offered false hope and confused the hell out of her. Why the hell did he have to kiss her? So that's where that highlighted section is. And basically what it is that Blaine, Cameron, and Graham are still coming to terms where they are in a possible relationship, but that plot line is moving just as fast as the mystery behind why this rogue pack wants Graham's ex-lover's children, who he's known since the younger son was born. So, and the younger son is about 3 or 4. So yeah, it's definitely coming along. Where I had because I read earlier. Let me just move forward. I had read earlier today, and then, got to about the 25% mark. And basically what it is that I got to the point where Blaine has come to terms with kind of accepting, possibly, the relationship of the three of them together, but he needs to have Graham's help, I think, to convince Cameron, because Cameron doesn't believe him at all. And Cameron is staying with the kids while Graham and Blaine head off to check out where Graham used to live with his ex-lover and the kids' old house, so he maybe can find some clues and such. Okay, so I am still reading the novel, of course. I'm at 30% of the way through this novel, and Graham and Blaine are now at the house looking it over for any oddities and such, for when Graham's lover had left. And there's definitely something odd, and definitely makes it look like he ran with the kids and was trying to escape something or was taken. But Blaine goes through his thoughts away from that and thinks about Graham and Cameron together, and he makes the comment of that it's been almost a century since he's had a thought of considering taking a male partner. And it's like, my mind goes, is like, how long can these ones live? Because they already talked about another shifter living over 100 years or so and still looking youngish. So I mean, this is, I've said before, this is a reread for me, but I don't know if I've read any other of Miss Davis's, any other in her series for this one. So I guess I don't know the specifics. How long can these shifters live? Yeah, weird thought, just wanted to share. Okay, so I am 39% of the way in, and Blaine and Graham finally found something. They had their own sexy times the night before, and then, where is it? In the morning, I guess the night before, or before they had their sexy times, when they were searching through the house, Blaine looked and ran over his fingers around this desk that Graham's ex-lover had. And nothing looked out of the ordinary. Well, he went in the morning, he had some coffee and sat down on the couch, and then they found this one little square that was lighter than the rest of the desk, and it bugged him. So when he mentioned it to Graham, when Graham woke up, Graham was like, nope, the desk isn't important, so he just ripped off the leg. And as soon as that they got the information that's inside the desk, the house gets attacked, and they make it out in time, but pretty much the house explodes. So yeah, that's the little nitpick for right now. Okay, so I'm at 54% of the novel, and where I left off is that big house scene, right? So what it is that they, Blaine and Graham got out of the house right in the nick of time for the most part. They got the journal and such that that Graham's ex had left for Graham, and the alpha, who was Blaine's father, says that he wants to take the journal to somebody to get it looked over and such. So that happens. Later that night, Blaine, Graham, and Cameron kind of have their first sort of date. And it's not really a date, but it's the kids and the adults, all 5 of them in the house, and they all hang out like a family. And then they put the kids to bed, and the adults sort of
the guys start trying to woo and seduce her into their triad. And it's definitely working. I mean, there's not really much push for the seduction. I mean, yeah, she's kind of for it, but she's leery of it. However, Blaine and Cameron have had sex before, so that didn't mate them just to have sex. So I'm curious when or how the mating will happen for them to be bonded for good. And I guess when in this shifter world, when they're bonded, they actually can share images of their past and can talk to each other in their minds. So it will definitely be interesting to see what will happen when the bonding finally happens. So yeah, it goes from that scene to Keegan, who is the alpha and Blaine's father, from his perspective, kind of building you up for the book after this, because it goes from between his perspective and then another shifter named Addison, and it goes from both their perspectives. They both have mind abilities as well as being different types of animal shifters, but Keegan's can help soothe people's minds or can mind bend a bit if he wants to, and Addison can actually read people's past or the past of a certain object because of her abilities. And it's building up because they are just realizing that they cannot do their powers on each other. Because, like, for Addison, it hurts her because of how a previous thing of, in her past, she was tortured and stuff because of her abilities. And for her, it's shocking that when she touches, or when Keegan touches her, or when she touches him, she doesn't have anything come up, which is a good thing, and is like a calming effect. But anyways, that's like the build-up for the book after this. But yeah, that's what I'm in the middle of right now, is the dialogue and the point of views of Keegan and Addison. So I'm waiting to get back to Graham, Blaine, and Cameron. So yeah, that's where I'm in. That's where I'm at, 54%.
Anywho, I just wanted to confirm where I was. I am in the middle of 65% right now, and basically, I don't remember. Okay, so I do. It's been a bit. So where I left off with Keegan and Addison is that they were going over the journal, like I said. From there, goes back to Graham, Cameron, and Blaine's point of views. And the following morning after their night together, they're still trying to pick up the pieces of where they're going, but I think it's definitely moving forward. There's no bumps so far in their relationship area. There's some back and forth about the kids and such, and then Cameron goes on a jog in her human form, and she goes outside the perimeter, and I guess there's these sentries, I think that's the word for it, but she's part of the group of enforcers that keep guard of everything. So she was off, but she decided on jogging around and saying hi to who was on guard. Well, she finds the person that was supposed to be on guard dead, and she calls Blaine, who is part of the group and stuff as well, and he comes, and they of course track down this being. It's not a zombie, it's not a shifter, it's kind of like a mutant mixture of everything, and they track down a few that killed the guard, and they fight them. And the way that the only way that Cameron sees as to help Blaine is to shoot him in the legs so she can actually get a clear shot of the guy. So yeah, that was fun. And it went from that scene and how Graham dealt with it all, and the three of them dealt with it afterwards, and now we're going to a perspective that I'm not sure for how long it's going to be, but it's from Jared's perspective, and Jared is Cameron's brother. I had just learned. And it will be interesting to see how long we're going to be in this perspective for, and I'm hoping not too long, because I don't mind various perspectives in novels, but I like it to be around the main couple mostly, especially when I'm just hopping into a series and I haven't read the ones before it. It's easier for me to follow that way. But this is only book 2 in this series, or technically book 3, because when I originally read this series, it was the Ashwood Falls series. I don't know, it says it on here, but I think that's the new name, because it's a Kindle version. So anyways, it was under a series, and I had listed on my blog as book 2. Well, I go on to Goodreads and everything now, and it's book 3. So I think she switched it up a bit, but yeah. So anyways, this series has this novel has a few books in front of it, 1 or 2, I'm not sure. But it's made it so that this setup is I've been having to go on to either Goodreads or her blog just to kind of piece together, okay, this person is this person, and this, where they have their own novels either before or after. So it's just that I typically do that with any book, to tell you the truth, because I'm nosy like that. Anywho, so yeah, I might get back to you tonight. We'll see. I guess where I said it's going to be from Jared's point of view, it was the end of chapter 10. Now I'm at the beginning of chapter 11, and I'm going to shut down and go to bed. But before that, I wanted to say that the reason that we had Jared's perspective was, like I said in the previous video, I had looked ahead, and I know he has his own novel, but it's going to be way down the line in this series. And his kind of what his whole storyline is throughout the series begins in this novel, I think. I mean, like I said, I hadn't read the previous novel, so I don't really exactly know, but he is what they call the Pack Justice. So even though he's Cameron's brother, she has no telepathic abilities or anything along those lines. She can't read minds or anything like that. He can manipulate them a bit like the Alpha can. However, it's not that he has the same ability as the Alpha. He can't mind bend. What he does is he can look through past memories of the person. So you see from this it wasn't even a full chapter, it was like a little bit. He's in a room, his office, and talking to one of the alphas. There's 2 alphas. That's not including their significant others. So yeah, there's 2 alphas, and he's talking to one of them about, I guess he lost his son, so he's looking for his son. I have no idea about the son or anything like that, first I've mentioned, because this novel is not about him. But it goes from there to Graham coming in and going over basically Graham and Jared first meeting and how that goes as being the future mate -- meeting the brother-in-law. So yeah, that's just pretty much how it went. And then they went over the will that was for Graham's ex-lover. So yeah, that was it. I know it's a long rambling speech for not much info. Sorry. Good night. Okay, so I just wanted to update you a bit. I did read last night, and where I left off, I finished
not sure if it was chapter 11 and 12, but it was one or both of those. I think I'm going on to chapter 13 next. It basically dealt with the three of them, Blaine, Cameron, and Graham, getting to know each other, and they found new things, and it's now boiling down to them going on a hunt to, they've kind of decoded Graham's ex-lover's journal, and now they're trying to, it's getting to the fight scenes about trying to take it down. Okay, so I'm at 83% of a mating dance, and it's getting good. As I said, that they were about to get into the big fight, and it happened, and new players are on the field. They might be old from previous books, but whatever. And yeah, this is a whole confusing clusterfuck, because everybody considers each other an enemy, the different packs, but it seems like, to me, they're all kind of going after the same thing, but they just have different, don't like the ways that they're going about it. And the mutants are not helping the factors. So, because, yeah, I can't say much more. I want to try to keep the ending kind of keep it spoiler free for you. So, oh my god, it's getting good. Yeah, one of them had gotten kidnapped, so the other two are going to try to get the other one out. But the people that are on the enemy side are not all who they seem either, because when I saw a name, I have a tendency to scroll through on the author's websites to find out if they're going to be used in any other novels, and this one is. So that's why I'm saying enemy lines are really messed up in this series. So it'll be interesting when all the truths finally come out, but I can't wait to see what's gonna happen next. I'm gonna let you go. Bye. I finished the book. Yay! Okay, so I have just finished A Mating Dance, and oh my goodness, guys, it was a good book. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you too much about the ending because I spoiled a lot of the middle part-ish, even though I didn't give a lot away, but the ending is very good. I liked how this fit in with the story, the series, and was basically a standalone, but had ways so it fit everything in, gave you instances or explanations of previous novels, and also build you up for the next and following novels itself. I originally chose to reread this novel because it was part of the readathon that I never got to. And at that time when I read it before was in 2013, and I gave it 4 stars. Now I think I don't feel comfortable in giving it 5 stars, but I'm definitely going to give it 4.5 out of 5 stars. It is definitely better than I think when I first read it. I haven't read my previous review for it, and it's linked down below, so if you want to. So I don't remember where my mindset was at that time, but I really liked the build up for this novel. I liked the romance, but it was mostly, the romance kind of took a back seat. The sexy time scenes were there, descriptive, but very quick. So they didn't really last too long on that. It was mostly about the action and how the world building and the relationships went through, and not just the relationship of Cam and Blaine and Graham, but the relationship of everybody in the pack themselves. So it was definitely a unique experience in the way that this novel is put together. And I'm assuming, because I don't think I've read any other novels in this series, that I'm assuming that the rest of the novels are the same way. Links are all down below, like I said, for my previous review, plus if you want to check out this series or this novel itself, the links are down below to check it out and purchase it yourself. I'm a huge fan. I really liked it. If I get around to it, I will read more from this series. That is for sure. Do I have a quote that I can give you to leave you with? Let's see. Okay, here we go. This is one from chapter 11 that I really enjoyed. Call her crazy, but she really won't. Okay, starting again. This is from chapter 11. Call her crazy, but she wanted this triad. She didn't know Graham that well. She felt so comfortable with him. Her jaguar even calmed in his presence. For the first time in her life, she felt balanced. Like her dominant half and her maternal half were finally found something for each of them. Great. She just admitted to a split personality. So yeah, that was my highlighted section from chapter 11. I have more. I do plan on doing a reread post at some point on my blog, but at this time it's just not available. When it is available, it will be linked down below as well, and I might do another. I have fun making teaser pictures and stuff, so that might happen too. So yes, if you're here for my ramblings, thank you for sticking around. This novel is 4.5 out of 5 stars. It is worth it. I highly recommend it. I think you should check it out. Like I said, I read it in 2013, and now I read it in 2018, and it's still just as good, if not better. So, thank you for sticking around. I hope you enjoyed this long vlogging book review. I do have more, so if you want to, up there, down below, check out what I have had in other versions. Please check them out. Subscribe if you can to this account or to any of my other socials, which are linked down below. And like or dislike this video however you see fit. I appreciate you being here, and I hope you stick around because you never know what in the world will happen on this channel. Have a great day.